Hey guys, Houndoom here, coming at you today with a new battle. So I haven't done a battle in a while, and yeah, since getting my capture card, I haven't actually done any Wi-Fi battles like recorded for my YouTube channel. So I felt like I should do that today. I've had some stacked up from my streams because I've started this new challenge with a good streamer buddy, otherwise known as Invictus X on Twitch or the Ninja Invic on YouTube. So this is the Hall of Fame challenge where they will fight me and Chris Invictus with whatever team they like. It's going to be OU or below, and then we use monotype teams, so it's essentially like you're fighting a gym. So this is particularly one of those battles that I've had. This is my rock team that I've used. It uses a pretty good defensive core I found using T-Tar and Cradley. It does have quite a glaring weakness to fighting, however. And then it uses Crustle and Aurorus as setup sweepers. Crustle, of course, using Shell Smash. And then Aurorus using Rock Polish with quite a good set. It does quite a lot of work at the end of this battle, so do watch out for that. And then Kabutops is here mainly to do a little bit of wall breaking, knock some things off, and then do some rapid spinning as well, which is always useful. And then Diance's there to do a bit of sweeping, because it doesn't have Rock Polish or Calm Mind or anything. It is an all-out attacking set, because I didn't really feel like I needed the setup again, bearing in mind I had two very, very good setup sweepers already. So this team obviously has some major weaknesses to water, grass, and fighting. The fighting is quite crippling, but yeah, it's not really something I can patch up very easily on a rock type team. There are no rock ghosts, which is a shame, but yeah, I feel like this team performs pretty well. It's not the best monotype team that I have, and you'll probably see more of those in the future, but this battle I had was against a fellow streamer called Glitched Bat on Twitch. She's called Bailey, and she had quite an interesting team. I was quite worried about the Lopunny and Klefki opening up here, because I knew that Mega Lopunny, I knew that Lopunny was going to be mega, and I knew that it's going to be tough to deal with. The Klefki is also going to be frustrating with its T-Wave and spiking all over the place. But let's get straight into the battle here. So yeah, these monotype teams work out quite well. I really like that. So this isn't a particularly long battle, but she leads off with her Lopunny, which I expected. I lead off with my T-Tar because I would really, really like to get up my Sand, because Sand is quite crucial to some of the defending done on this team, particularly by Cradley. So I stay in here, kind of a stupid play, but I did reckon that she was probably going to go for the fake out, because I wasn't really seeing a high jump kick. I wasn't seeing a high jump kick coming this early. So I stayed in for the fake out because I may as well, and then I go ahead and switch out, but she also switches out, which kind of confused me. She probably knew my moveset because I've used it on stream quite a few times, so she switched directly into her Klefki, which is a good play. I switch out and go into my Kabutops to take the high jump kick because I thought one was coming. So I make the best of it and I stay in here. I also think that Kabutops was probably one of the better Pokemon to take the T-Wave, because this thing isn't particularly fast and it is mainly here to just do a bit of spinning. So I try to stay in here and go for a knockoff, but I get paralysed again. So at this stage I am not prepared to lose my Kabutops. I'm not prepared to take any hit whatsoever. So I go straight into my Cradley. Not really expecting to do very much, especially since I cannot toxic this Klefki. But since this thing is hazarding all over my face, I felt like I may as well switch in and get up my rocks, which I carry on this thing instead of on my T-Tar. My T-Tar has quite a lot of full moveset syndrome, but I'm going to try and edit its moveset soon. So she goes for the heal block, an interesting move that I wasn't expecting. Quite a very good move, in fact, because it completely cripples me, bearing in mind I am unable to go for my Giga Drain now. Or recover, in fact. So I switch straight back into my Tyranitar, hoping to get off the T-Wave as she continues to set up those spikes, the last layer right there. So I decide to go for a T-Wave as she goes for the Play Rough. I know that I can take that as I'm fully physically defensive, so I go for the T-Wave. This thing obviously isn't going to put a stop to that prankster, but it will help neutralise it a little bit in the fact that it won't be able to attack as often. And this comes into play right here. I did expect to get hit by a T-Wave, and so I switched straight into my Kabutops, also to try and get a spin off, as she gets fully paralysed, and she switches out into her into her, what's that thing called? Toxicroak. I'm forgetting Pokemon names. I do go for the Rapid Spin. It does an actually fair amount to that Toxicroak. Wasn't really wanting to do any damage, just wanted to get that Rapid Spin off so I could get rid of those spikes as she set up all 3 layers. So I go ahead and switch out and I go into my Cradily, not really having much to take this Drain Punch, so I feel like on balance my Cradily here is probably the least useful member of the team. She's got the rocks up, she hasn't got a Spinner or a Defogger, so I'm just going to go with it because Cradily is probably the best Pokemon here who can actually take something. And unfortunately Cradily can't really do much back to this Toxicroak, so she is Death Fodder. So she goes down, and I switch straight into my Crustle as he gets a free switch in, and especially with no spikes that means he has his Sturdy intact. She goes for the Gunk Shot, probably just to break Sturdy. I'm unsure why she didn't go for the Drain Punch, but I guess it doesn't really matter at that stage, but she could have missed, which is why I was a bit surprised. Now I do carry White Herb on this thing. It definitely plays a big part on this team. This White Herb has come in a lot more useful than you would think. I tend to carry Life Orb on Cloyster, but I think the White Herb on Crustle really capitalises on its defence because it even has a surprising amount of special defence. So I go for the Earthquake, take down the Toxicroak, and in comes the Mega Lopunny. I'm expecting a Fake Out, but to be honest, at the same time, I'm not really wondering why she would do that. Because, you know, she's not going to be doing very much. So she goes for the Drain Punch, does a little bit over half of what I had left. So I go for an Earthquake, and it doesn't quite take down the Mega Lopunny, which is a massive shame because this thing is a huge threat to my team. So she goes for another Drain Punch, and unfortunately she KOs me this time. I think there may be a bit of a min-max damage shenanigans right there. But either way, I go straight into my Kabutops, hoping to get off the Aqua Jet, but she totally sees that coming, and so she switches out straight into her Klefki, hoping to get more spikes off. So yeah, I stayed in here to go for the Aqua Jet. Doesn't really do anything to this Klefki right here. And also then reveals that she has the Rocky Helmet on this thing, which is another annoying thing to have on that Klefki. So I switch out and go into my Frostilicus, my Aurorus here, as she goes for a layer of spikes. I decide that it's probably best that I don't go for a Rock Polish here because obviously then an obvious T-Wave is coming and I didn't want to risk the fully paralysis. So I go straight for the Earth Power and knock out this crucial Klefki because this thing was a huge deal to my team, especially with those spikes knocking around. And so I have Life Orb on this thing, and I think that probably did matter. So in comes the Mega Lopunny. Unfortunately, this is where I have to switch straight out, which is obviously a point where it would have been nice to have the Rock Polish up, but obviously it doesn't really matter. So I go straight into my T-Tar, just as Death Fodder, but I want to get my Sand up just so that I can take a little bit of, a few hits are better, a bit easier, especially considering I see she has a Noivern. So I go straight into my T-Tar, just as Death Fodder, just to die. And she knocks me out with the Drain Punch, which I was kind of expecting. But yeah, so down goes T-Tar. And then I, after turn effects, I then switch into my Kabutops, just basically to go for an Aqua Jet here, because I want to try and get some damage on this thing. But she switches out and goes straight into her own Aurorus. So she takes some nice Stealth Rock damage, and I go for the Aqua Jet, which does a fair amount to this Aurorus. Now I thought that this thing was probably going to stay in, so I went for another Aqua Jet, but unfortunately I get fully paralysed, and she manages to get off her Earthquake and KO me. However, this does give me an opportunity to switch straight into my own Aurorus and risk the Speed Tie, because I'm pretty sure she's scarfed, but I go straight for the Rock Polish, which I'm not sure if she carries it, but I decided to just go for it and risk the Speed Tie. And she goes for an Earthquake, and this is where I am able to tank that. If she had the earth power, I probably would have still been able to take it because of the sand. But I have just enough power in me to take down her Auroras with the earth power. Obviously the crucial amount of damage from the Aquajet plate was very, very important there, because otherwise I would not have been able to take it down. She would have KO'd me with the earthquake. So in comes the Mega Lopunny again. I can now outspeed this thing because of the rock polish, so I go straight for a hyper voice, which is obviously boosted by the refrigerate, and I knock out that Mega Lopunny finally, because that thing was bugging me the whole match. Next in comes her Gyarados. Now I know that I can absolutely batter this thing because I carry Freeze Dry on this Aurorus. I feel like it's a bit more useful than the T-Bolt because this can actually KO quite a few more things, especially some of those pesky water ground types which seem to be running around, which this team in particular has problems with, since I don't really carry any grass type moves besides on my Cradily. So in comes the Noivern just to finish off, and I outspeed with the rock polish, so I just go ahead and go for the hyper voice, and that is the game right there. So yeah, it was a pretty amazing match, to be honest. It was quite difficult to deal with that Klefki stall because of the fact that she kept going for those spikes and I was kept having to take damage, but it was a really, really good match, which is why I saved it, because I wanted to upload it to my YouTube channel. But it was really good battle, Bailey, and I will be seeing you more often on the Hall of Fame, and I hope to see some of you guys watching the Hall of Fame challenge. I hope to see some of you guys there. I stream it every Wednesday and Sunday, kind of varied times, but feel free to jump on and sign up, because I would love to see some of you guys there. But I really hope you enjoyed this battle. Feel free to leave a like rating, leave a comment, ways to improve, whatever, and feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, and feel free to head on over to my Twitch channel if you haven't already. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see all of you guys very soon.